Okay, for today's session, we are going to look in detail about inferences and assumptions. So the most important part of GATE examination reasoning a question based on assumptions and inferences. So if you think that you would rather skip this tricky topic, you have to learn to tackle these well. So they can provide you to be the most scoring and even time-saving questions of GATE. And the purpose of such kind of question is to evaluate yourself in reasoning skills, and even you can definitely develop these how a concept clarity and practice as well. So students are often generally confused with these assumptions and inferences. While it may not matter in case of easy questions, but you need to know the difference to handle difficult questions. And a GATE does not really feature easy questions, but once you learn to identify these assumptions from inferences, this trickiest question can be handled accurately in less time. Okay, to start with, let's first see what these two are. So the first is assumption. So it is unstated premise which cannot be logically derived from any existing information. In other words, it cannot stand on its own. Assumptions are generally given to present some new information. So these can also be a part of some beliefs. So what about the inference? It is the piece of information which can be logically deducted from the one or more statements. So now let's explore an interesting link between these two. So combination of assumption, that is valid and true information. Okay, that is assumption, valid and true information. And factual information. So which results in inferences. So inference, which means a correct one and a valid statement. So I hope you understand. So assumption is nothing but valid or true information or true statement, whereas fact, so when you connect these two, when you link these two, you will get inferences. So what's the ultimate inference? Is correct or valid one. So you must be thinking that difference is pretty simple, right? So then how does confusions arises between these two? Well, the confusion arises because the phrase maybe must be true, since neither the assumption nor the inferences is stated explicitly in the arguments. So it may be complex to differentiate between the two. So let's understand some important difference between these two, so that it would be much more clear to you. As discussed above, inferences can be logically deducted from any given information. On the other hand, assumption is just a new information that can never be logically deducted or deduced from any given information. Whereas information must be true if the given information is true, while assumption must be true for the conclusion or given information to be true. So if you see carefully, so both follow opposite direction for either to hold true. So generally the question structure of the two varies in the following ways. So the statements above are true, which of the following must be true? Inferences. So select the assumption on which argument depends. Assumption. So as you can see in the so you basically asked to logically deduce the inference from the given state of statements, right? So the assumption must have a conclusion, while an inference is rarely followed by a conclusion. So in fact, you can formulate some logical inferences from the given assumption. So now, you know that there is no overlap between inference and assumptions. If you examine your daily life, you can notice that it revolves around number of beliefs, especially most of the cases assumptions from which we draw inferences in day-to-day actions. So example, you see sad expressions on someone's face. You infer that something is troubling that person. So I hope now you are getting to know what is inferences and assumptions, right? So suddenly if you see your friend sad, So you can able to infer and find that something is troubling him or her. So basically our experience lead us to make an inference as we grow. That this is exactly what we require to tackle the question based on critical reasoning. So all you need to do is think. So now you must be wondering that people make different inferences based on different or similar kind of experience. So just because that you have experienced that feeling, even there is a possibility of you to interpret in such a way that person is being sad. So example, while you make particular person sad, your friend can dislike the person for the same. Well, there comes a role of assumptions. So based on belief, so what we have experienced in the normal day, so we try to implement those things. Now we'll continually make assumption and inference about everything and everyone. So how about learning this in a good strategy to handle related gate questions? So far we had just to understand what is inferences and assumption in general mode. So when we want to explore things in the perspective of gate, so how we can handle with the relative questions like this. Okay, so we shall go further. So let's explore how to develop critical thinking skills and tackle seemingly complex question efficiently. So the following strategies will give you a hold on assumption-based question. So what are the strategies that you can remember before answering, for responding assumption-based question? First, what you must do is, first you should start identifying the premise from the given statement or the question. So how to identify the premise? So as you would know that any questions contain at least one premise. Okay, any questions has one premise. So the first task is to identify the premise in the question. Good idea would be look out for indicators words like owing to, for example, because, since, for, as indicated, for the reason that, we know, okay, etc. So these premises are considered to be true without any doubt. Also, do not let your personal belief prevent you from identifying the correct premise. Okay. So the next one is, this is one of the strategy that you can hold on to answer this assumption based question. So number 2, how to identify the conclusion. So once you have found the premises given in the question, the next step is to look for the conclusion. So it is also, it is often accompanied by the words like accordingly, hence. So what we have followed in school days, right? Even in college. So easily we can able to recognize that must be the conclusion like accordingly, hence, follows that, clearly, as a result. So consequently, thus, so. So these words may help you to identify conclusion. So how can we identify the assumption after these two strategy? So when you know that premises and conclusion, it will be easy for you to figure out the assumptions. As discussed before, assumption is hidden or unstated part of a given statement. So putting in another ways, it is a connection between premises and conclusion. So that is called assumption. So basically, assumption is the part of a statement which the author has skipped while moving from fact to conclusion. So you're expected to find this missing link by utilizing your reflective thinking abilities. In case sometimes question seems to be complicated, check which option fills the gap between premise and conclusion. So this will help you arrive at the right assumption. So it is always better to avoid formulating assumption before reading the options, since we tend to make assumption based on our personal belief or personal bias. Okay, cultural bias even. Good way would be to negate a given answer choice to check if the conclusion can be arrived at or not. So since now you know the right approach to solve assumption based questions, so let's discuss strategy for inferential questions. So far we have discussed about assumption based. Now let's move on to the inference. So what are the common strategies which has to be followed? So in order to find out the answer for inferential based question. Number one, first you must able to understand the question. First you need to be sure the question is asked for inference. Look, words like assertion, conclusion, inferred. So these inference-based questions generally appear in this following forms, like the above information supports which of the following assertion, or sometimes what conclusion can be drawn from the evidence above. So these are the sample questions that you can listen, and you can, you can easily understand whether that question is based on the inference. Which of the following assertion is most strongly supported by the evidence? Or sometimes which of the following conclusion can most likely be drawn from the information above? So if you observe carefully, so you can find out inference is information of factual things and the conclusion. So stating in another way, it is just a logical conclusion between or based on the fact, stating less directly. So the next one is simplifying the statements. The statements given in the question often makes use of jargon and appearing very complicated to students. In such case, it is always best to rewrite the statements or the ideas or the information in your own words. So that may make your task easy rather going with the exact statements in the question. And the next strategy is evaluating option. So once if you have simplified the given information, the next task is to check which option follows from that. So while evaluating answer choices, you can keep these things in your mind, like inference can never be direct line from given passage. It should rather follow from the given fact or statement. Or sometimes inference is not a restatement of any of the information or statement. Example, Meera is happy. The inference cannot be Meera is not sad. So extreme answer choices should not be chosen. Okay. The selected answers should lie in the scope of passage. You should not assume anything unrelated to the given statement. So an inference is drawn with respect to readers or observers. Additionally, you can also use elimination strategy if you are not able to spot answers easily. Okay, that's very important. And last strategy that you can keep in mind is how to conclude with the inference. So direct conclusion is often mistaken for reference. In such case, remember that conclusion is more specific statement, while an inference is more generic statement drawn from the given statement. So imagine that your statement is like when bears are injected with a certain chemicals A and C, they show sorry, they start showing erratic behavior. But inferences, chemical injections are not good as for bears' behavioral pattern. So conclusion, if particular chemical A and C are given to bears, they will always display erratic behavior. So also these conclusion may be stated in the given passage directly or indirectly. So but the inference is never stated in the passage, right? So as you know, the inferential question features in RC as well as any reasoning session. It's crucial to pay special attention to learning the right approach for it. So now you are well aware to the strategies to handle two of the important types of questions in the verbal reasoning. Let's take example to understand the difference better. Say Lara and Diana are having conversation regarding some homework they received in the previous day. So Lara, have you gone through the article emailed by Professor Camellia? It's really concise and helps students learn the concepts easily. So here the second statement is an assumption. So for the Diana response like this, I haven't read it, so I think all your doubts are cleared now. So again, if you look at the second statement, is an inference made by Diana considering fact or assumptions stated by Lara. So Lara says, yes, of course, do read it. If you have any doubt, I'm sure she'll help you. So Diana, but how do I get in touch with her? Do I have to wait until next week's class? Lara says, just email her, she will clear your doubts. So this is an inference. Lara infers this assuming that Professor Kevler reads and responds to her mails. It's just an assumption, so not even fact. So now you know the difference between assumptions and inferences. So now, how to make inferences in reading? Okay. Excuse me. So when you try to find out the assumption in critical reasoning questions, okay, for example, so it is an essential skill for you to develop some gate critical reasoning in reading. So at least a missing link between premises and conclusion. So in order to that, we need to read actively and identify the premise and conclusion. From there, you need to identify any missing links or leaps in logic between two. Okay, so these are usually subtle, difficult to spot. But with a lot of practice and critical thinking, it will start coming naturally. Okay, so now, if you look at this example given in the next slide, say, a group of college students participated in sleep study where half of them slept for a full 8 hours and other half were woken up 2 to 3 times during the night. Uh, half, sorry, the half that slept the full 8 hours uninterrupted performed better, an average, a logical reasoning exam the next day than the other half whose sleep was interrupted. Therefore, people have best brain function when they sleep for full 8 hours uninterrupted. So see, if you see here from the bottom, there are actually quite few missing links here. So sample of people, the people who were tested were all college students. For an average around age 18 to 22. However, the conclusion is all about people in general, which might be a leap on logic. So leap in logic in the sense a higher score on the logical reasoning test doesn't necessarily means higher brain function. So the word best is the study discussed in the argument only tested in two different sleep scenarios. Just because one is better than the other does not necessarily mean that it is the best. Okay. So the correct answer to strengthen or assumption question is usually something that fills in the hole left by the missing link. So for flaw questions, like it highlights the missing link. For weak questions, it exploits the whole missing link. Therefore, when reading critical reasoning passage, you must be very careful and very actively participated in reading and identifying the premises and conclusion, spot the missing link between two, and use the missing link to identify the correct answer. Alright, so now let's move on since it's language based. So we have to make an inferences in reading. So how to make inferences in reading? So inferences in reading is the ability to understand the meaning of a passage of a text without all the information being spelled out. So from context clues within the passage, author gives information about plot, characters, settings, time, and other element of the story by the things that he or she infers. Word choice or word order give clues about the story as it unfolds to the reader. So reader takes the clues they are given and draw conclusion based on the own world view and personal experiences, right? So this is how we should start making inferences. So what are the strategies are there when it comes for reading comprehension? Reading comprehension in the sense of inferences in reading. The first one is close technique. So generally it is also based on the psychological theory of closure. According to online professional learning community, Thinkfinity, a closed theory, supports the idea that person attempts to complete any pattern that is not complete. So activities using this theory can teach students to infer meaning behind the text by recognizing and completing patterns within the reading. Since one such activity, students choose a passage of about 250 words in a book of an appropriate reading level. So from this selection, students should include the first and second sentence completely. So students then delete every fifth word after the first two sentences from the passage and replace these with blank lines. So students exchange papers and try to fill in the blank diffuse reading selection and looking for patterns or meanings from words that remain to help them in the form of fill in the blanks. So that is how it's called a close technique, right? The students then compare the words they have chosen to the original text to see how their choices or the meaning. And the next strategy could be the general sense. So general sense, the concept of this general sense help students to infer the meaning of words or passage of text based on the context clues. For example, so according to general sense activities help students to understand implied word meaning, even though the word themselves may be new or unfamiliar sometimes. So one way to teach this to give students a sentence with a new vocabulary word, then list the meaning of a word within the remaining text. So for example, murderers are usually incarcerated for long periods of time than robbers. Students may not be familiar with the word incarcerated, so they most likely be familiar with the word robbers. So students know that the robbers who are caught usually spend time in jail for crimes. So thus they can infer that word incarcerated means to spend time in custody for crimes committed, right? So then sometimes using examples also could be the another strategy, right? Using example that means same as the word student is trying to understand the way to infer meaning. So inference helps students to use their background knowledge, so to find out what they do not know. So using examples from personal experience, the following sentence helps students to infer the meaning of the word gregarious. Example, those who enjoy belonging to clubs, going to parties, frequently inviting friends to their homes. Dinners are gregarious because students associate certain personality traits in those who enjoy so much. They can infer that gregarious is a word used to describe this type of person. And the next one is opposite and contrast. It will help you students take information that they already knew to infer meaning to other words. According to the University of Christian University, when the meaning of a word is not implied by context or general sense, it can be inferred by using a word that is opposite or in stark contrast the meaning of a word in the question. For example, one person is fearless, another is timorous in a sentence. It can be inferred that timorous means something like frightened, afraid, or timid. So since the sentence is attempting to show the difference between two. So I had given you an article, so you can follow this link which is already posted in the chat box. So in that I had given you an article named The Caravaggio Mystery. So in that you can find out a passage and you can try to find out the answer which has been given below that passage. Okay, please take this link. Okay. from the passage, what answer that we can easily get to is option C. So for inference question, the things that you need to remember is, so we had nearly 4 choices, right? So in that the answer is C. So this is the, I mean, for inference question, you'll need to return to the passage, wherein the passage, well, it will help you if you take a notes as read through passage through first time. However, here you can also skip because we are also looking for the proper noun, on toast. So we can find him in third paragraph, which explains the difference in the praises of the two artist works. So 8 guineas would have been probably been a fair price if the work had been a Van Honta's true Caravaggio, though it was a bargain of century. Therefore, we can make the inference that his work is done. So why not the other answers? So A is incorrect because we don't know, we don't have any exact information about the value of his painting during his lifetime. So that is how we consider that A is an incorrect one. And option B, we also don't know about the popularity of his work. So though the passage seems to indicate that actually, so the opposite is true. So finally, though his painting style was probably similar to Caravaggio, as one was mistaken for the other, so the artists were also likely to use similar matter. So as well for the same reason. So that cannot be the answer. So how can I use this practice in my test day strategy? So the best way of scoring marks when it comes for GATE is it's not by cramming, but rather by making your thoughtful process and steady progress towards your goal, and go through the series of reading questions centered around a particular passage. Okay, so that is how the question based on Caravaggio has been already posted in Actively Learn platform. And once if you get through the article and questions, so it would be easy for you to understand certain inference questions in more broadly. These posts will have some reading passages and sample problems, so that will provide you answers as well as the explanation. So you can look all those things here. Okay. So now, for inference question, you need to return to the passage. Okay, it will help you to take notes, and the first time what you must do is you can skim the passage. So that's how I have told you already. So you have to look for the proper noun, so that you can easily able to find out the answers. All right. So when it comes for other information related to this inference question, so first thing that you must often deal with the cause and effect sometimes. So by stating the effect of changes, the question will then ask you to identify cause of that effect. Similarly, you may encounter the partial comparison in the text, which you may have to complete in the question, like phrases like now for the first time. So some general comparison words like then, related to. Then if you see one of these in the reading, it may be also a hint that you'll have to answer an inference question about it later. And while answering inference questions, so be careful not to infer too much. So if you assume information that it's not in the passage, you will be wrong. So even though the correct answer will not be stated in the passage, so be sure that you can find concrete evidence to support it. And when it comes to practicing, it will be always tricky. So only your practice will help you. So the hand between the lines, right? So The most important thing to remember is that inferences won't be huge leaps. What is written in the passage, it tend to be something close and detailed question, but requiring another logical step. So don't infer too much. That is how I have been stressing on, particularly anything that's out of scope of passage. Okay. So these are how to find the assumption in certain critical reasoning questions. So you can find out premises. First, you should be very active in identifying the premises, then conclusion. Then it would be easy for you to analyze the logic between two. So then we will consider that as an assumption. Okay. So I hope that the session was clear to you. And if you have any other doubts, you can post on the chat box. So on the whole, I just wanted to suggest you as you have to start practicing. So to answer questions, you can have numerous sources on the net. So you can take that source and you can please start practicing yourself with that, and definitely it would help you to get through this kind of questions when you face GATE examination. Okay, and if you have any other suggestions or any other doubts, any clarifications, you can feel free to contact me and I am here to help you. Okay, so thank you students, and we shall meet you in the next class.